Good morning, everyone, and how are you all today on this lovely Friday morning? And as I traverse to work, you would notice that I have on red. And there's supposed to be a joint union march today to the financial complex, basically in disagreement with the 2% proposal made by CPU for salary increases. Now, as with any organization, with any employee, with any worker, there are good and bad things. And if the public service wants a reform, the government has the power to do so. But do not try to bully people into producing how you want them to produce by giving a paltry 2% for the last 7 years. Honestly, cost of living has gone up by over 600%. And let us not even talk about prior to the pandemic. We want to get what is due to us. I'm not saying that some ministries are operating very inefficient, but who has the power to change those inefficiencies into productivity? The management and the government of those ministries. So do not, and I say this again, do not punish people for the lack of innovation, creativity that lies within these organizations to spur productivity. We understand that it's in these hard economic times that the government may not have the money, or so they say. But then we are starting all these new construction projects that seems to make no sense to the small man like me. I'm not going to see the benefits of that for the next 10 years. Right now, my salary makes no sense. And honestly, I think people should pay more attention to the fact that minimum wage, persons who make minimum wage, they're not even benefiting. It's very hard to survive in the salaries that we are, and the middle class, I'm sorry, I don't even consider myself middle class because the salary don't make sense. So as I was saying, why punish public servants for the government's inability to promote efficiency and effectiveness in these ministries? I work in health, and we worked through the pandemic. I may not be a doctor or a nurse. However, as an administrator, we were charged with the responsibility of managing certain things or trying as best as possible, and we too are at risk. And we haven't gotten any salary increases for working through the pandemic. We risk our lives to ensure that our health system did not collapse. And people are saying that that's what you're getting paid for, but a pandemic is a special situation. And it's not something you are mentally prepared for. We have a lot of people experiencing COVID fatigue. I have lots of colleagues who has long-term effects from contracting COVID. We have colleagues who passed away. You were not financially rewarded for that. And because of the pandemic, cost of living has significantly increased. And you are telling me that 2%, look, gas raised how many times within the last 7 years? Food prices raised how many times in the last 7 years? And then my salary is not even up to par for me to properly buy groceries for my family. You can't even entertain yourself because you have no money to save. And they're not seeing the bigger picture in terms of these 7 years. 000. Y'all remember that headline in the papers? Right. 2014, 2015 elections. All right. Till 2020, nothing. Okay, we're in a pandemic in 2020. But this is a slap in the face to everybody. Because it's not just public servants you're all talking about. It's teachers. It's national security persons such as fire and police. So I ask you, do you think it's fair? 2%? Because you cannot just judge based on the fact that, okay, I go to a government office and nobody is there to serve me. No. Those ministries need change management, and it has to come from the government. If you all are not happy about something, you all make the change. You all are the strategic planners. But no, the system continues to operate. And if the system is broken, how are we fixing it? Fixing it is not with people's salaries. That is not going to force me or force people to work. You understand? If you could barely afford to travel to work these days, you go in and tell me that my salary from 2014 is acceptable to live in 2022? Come again, man. Come again. So basically, what we perpetuate will continue. And we cannot blame public servants wholly and solely for the low productivity in these ministries, because if these systems are not designed for us to get optimal results, we will do what we have to do. So change has to start from somewhere, and it needs to start from the top. And you should not use our salaries as a tool to get us to work if the system is not designed for us to produce what you want us to produce. I think government ministers, the Prime Minister, the CPU, and all those persons who are reviewing the wage negotiations need to look at your salary. Are you comfortable with your salary? Then you are in the minority. The majority of us public servants need a salary increase to survive in the ever-rising prices of this world. Wondering why my jersey, well, why my view is like this. I have on the organization jersey with a logo. Didn't want to show it in the video, okay? Alright. But basically, my red today is in solidarity with my colleagues and friends who are going to Port of Spain to march. And I think the citizens in Trinidad and Tobago need to look at themselves. We have the power for change if we come together, right? And we need to understand that we elect the person to office, and we have to find a method in order for these persons to work for us and not against us. So there, welcome to my TED Talk. Have a wonderful Friday and enjoy the long weekend.